It's a question by me, as a mission resident, and I was displaced and removed along with a lot of other poor moms with a $700 rent increase. Yes, I did say $700. So the mission is being peopled by a lot of non-native businesses that don't reinvest in the history and herstory of mission peoples. Would any of you guys be willing to support or consider putting forth a moratorium on gentrifier businesses in the mission?
It's actually something I've been working on for over 2 decades to protect the businesses that employ local people, that are community serving, that have been here. We got to stop this gentrification and the ability for landlords to raise rents no matter how high. We are doing a really bad job of this, so absolutely, we've got to do something.
Poor people housing, SROs, run by private companies, charge up to $850, which is the majority, if not all, of poor people's income, whether on SSI or welfare or low-wage jobs. Would you draft a proposal for SRO tenants living market-rate housing to only have to pay a third of their income in rent?
The SROs are nasty. You got those bed bugs in there, and then definitely you don't feel safe in there, and then you got to share bathrooms with everybody else too. So you want to take a shower, you find spaghetti, you find spoil filled in there. No, I'm true. It's filthy. You got to wear slippers. You got to wear. It's not sanitary. It's not nice. You know, it's. I don't know. I just don't feel right about it. But like Deborah says, everything has to be up to code. Everything has to be up to par for you to stay in those SROs. And I can understand what James is going through, James Keys, how he says that he had to move from one SRO to another SRO. And I have friends that dealt with the same thing as well too. And it's not paradise. Thank you very much. Thank you for being so kind.
Some teachers work for free.
I'm Bruce Allison, Elder Scholar, Poor Magazine. I would like to ask this one question. If a building is abandoned longer than 5 years, would you go for taking it over through the community process and turning it over to low-income people with 20% of AMI? And would you also support the British style of squatting if a building is older than 10 years? Thank you very much.
Well, this is a big problem, obviously, in the city, and especially in District 6, all the abandoned buildings. I think the root cause of the problem is Prop 13. It's the root cause of a lot of our problems in California. Because if you own a building and you bought it like in 1970, your taxes are so low that it doesn't make sense for you to you can just leave it vacant, and you pay so little taxes on it. You can wait, and eventually someone will buy it this year, next year, 10 years, 20 years. So I think the most important thing we got to do is change Prop 13 and change it especially on commercial properties. Because there's no rationalization for keeping taxes on commercial properties this cheap. It's just a corporation that's going to pay them anyway. And so I think that's the most important thing. We got to work for that, and we got to work. That's a state law issue. But if we can change the state law on this, then we'll change all the vacant properties, not just in San Francisco, but in every city, in LA, everywhere.
Libraries won't be found.
Whenever you want to get removed, poor people of color, there's always this odd codified use of the word cleaning up. The 6th Street corridor is a beautiful example of that, and it's dealing right now in real time with heavy-duty gentrification under the term of arts.
Are you aware that calling 6th Street corridor the District 6 art zone is a codified way of influencing gentrification and the removal of poor people of color? Would you be willing to propose full sanctions on gentrification in District 6, including the so-called Arts District in
6th Street. I think that it's important that we protect housing stock on 6th Street for our low-income communities. I've been a part of Middlestick since 2000. Which is actually a Filipino arts theater on 6th Street. I actually think that some of the art spaces on 6th Street have done an amazing job of being a part of the community. Middlestick has always worked with young people that live in South Market. There are plenty of youth that also live near and close to 6th Street that can access a lot of the youth services. Their 1 AM gallery is doing a lot of graffiti classes, working in conjunction with Bessie Crime Rifle. There's a new skateboard shop downtown on Howard between 6 and 7 that's also trying to work with United Players and Galabata at Bessie Crime Rifle. And I think that all of those arts organizations are positive things because they're actually trying to serve our community. But I think that we have to protect housing, and I agree with James Keyes. I think that we need to do a better job of actually cycling low-income folks through our housing process and
business improvement districts help or encourage the criminalization of poor and houseless people. Would you propose legislation that would get rid of business improvement districts? And also, would you get rid of things like Proposition L?
Absolutely no on L. I've had lots of brownie and lemonade stands against Prop L. So, and also I would like to say that, you know, we keep looking for these BIDs to pay for services, and that's because we're wasting our money by criminalizing people. What we need to look to do is safe injection sites and house people and stop pushing people through our jail system where within 3 days you could have paid for their housing with services for an entire month.
My question is pertaining to something I fought against, 5 years ago regarding the SFPD and their racial profiling in quote-unquote people in poor people housing, that being SRO hotels. My question is for every one of you here, and some of you in the audience who already know my resistance against that. Would you propose to the Police Commission to require the police department to pass a policy that will prohibit police officers from violating the civil rights of SRO tenants that impact people of limited means in San Francisco? I mean, it's something that I fought over 5 years against.
You know, Chief Gascon is the most political police chief we have had in my memory. I've lived here 33 years. I don't remember another chief that would push so many issues as wedge issues. It's just meant to divide us. That's all it's about. Now, to the question itself, obviously everyone should be treated with dignity. To correct an error the Guardian printed last week, I opposed Prop L strongly. I always have. So let's just set the record straight. I apologize today. But because people are forced to live in such small living quarters, it spills out. You can't lead your entire life in a 12 by 12 foot room. You don't have a living room or cooking facilities or a bathroom. I will say, if I am elected, we will move away from the SRO style of housing. It's under the hotel code. That's why you can't cook in your rooms. All housing should be under the housing code, and we should have all of those protections, as well as protections out on the street.
There's not enough.